Raise your hand if you've ever been busy. Raise your hand if you've ever got tired and feel like you just need a couple days off. Most people would have both hands up right now. That's our world, fast-paced and income-driven. That's why we get caught up in our own lives so often, and that's why it's understandable when most people don't focus on worries that aren't their own. So what makes someone become a humanitarian? Someone whose whole life focuses on the welfare of other humans.
When you go back and you see kids that were living on the streets, kids had no structure, they had no routine, people who had nothing, they didn't have meals. When you see that they're all of a sudden they're waking up, they have structure, they have something to do, they have a meal in their belly, their life changes completely. They like I said, their self-esteem changes, their self-worth, their ability to know who they are in the world and what they have the potential of becoming, to give that hope, to give that dream, and then to watch people actually use that to do good for themselves and others it's amazing. It becomes an addiction.
And with Serena's help, we'll find the meaning of life to a humanitarian.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you doing today?
I'm doing wonderful, Queen.
Okay, I have to tell on myself. I disappeared for a moment.
I
I
know.
was I was trying to be technical, not my strong suit. So I was going to stream this to my personal Facebook page. Well, as I was trying to do that, I accidentally zapped us out. So I had to go find the link, come back on. I said, Barb's going to wonder what happened to me. So, yeah, we love technology. And, it's so funny that here was me. I'm not the tech queen, which is one of the reasons why we are having Rita Thomas on today. She is founder of, the Automation Nation. She is a tech girl extraordinaire. Anyways, so that was my little foray into tech, which is why I don't do tech stuff. I accidentally.
We all have our lanes of genius.
We all have our lanes of genius. So I'm not. So we're gonna have to figure out another way to put me on to put this show on my personal Facebook page. Anyways, so something else to look at. But anyway, so how are you, Miss Barb?
I'm doing wonderful. I have really asked myself, okay, how can I focus more on my genius, like I was just saying. And a lot of times, and I've been telling this to people for a while, and I said, okay, Barbara, you're telling everybody else, you need to tell yourself more because you need to do it. It's funny how you could tell somebody, hey, you suggest this, suggest that. But then when it comes to you, it's like, hello, you should be doing the same thing. You just told them that. So one thing I've been saying is I'm trying to really work hard at the items and the things I do for my business that is like administrative or, anything that really doesn't have to do with basically making a profit. I'm just going to put it like that. I'm giving it away. I'm saying, okay, let me either put technology to it or have a person do it, delegate, all that stuff. So I'm learning slowly but surely to do that because it's very detrimental. It really is. Can't all do it at once. I mean, I don't care. A solopreneur, still, even if you don't have a team yet, I'm just going to put everything out there. Even if you have a team yet, the team can be technology. The team can be technology. I mean, use the Calendly and use, the DocuSign and use all that stuff right now. And so you can really, get with Rita See, I'm just going into godmom, godmother. You can get Rita, and then she can help you, with your funnels and stuff, and then really make it super, super, super. But until you can't do it right then and there, you have to look at what surroundings that you have, and a lot of stuff you don't have to pay so much money for. So that's what I've been working on to get to that level too, so I can get to Rita. But before then, there's no excuse. You still can find ways to get stuff done without, doing it all your own, all manual stuff, because it just it eats up your time, and then you're not getting done what you need to get done.
Right. And one of the things I think for me is pick and choose what you're working on. What is the, like, one of the things that I ask myself all the time is this the best use of my time, resources, and energy before I start anything? And I program into, not program, but into my day, I set timers. So because to make sure you stand up, make sure, okay, this week and what I want to talk about for today, but this starts with it. What are you doing to make sure you stand up during the day? For me, literally have to set a timer. So I set a timer unless I'm doing a Zoom, and I make sure I stand up. But even then, once in a while, you'll go from Zoom to Zoom, and I'm like, ooh, Barbara, I have not stood up. So now I don't care, unless it's a specific client. I will tell whoever I'm talking to, hey, you know what? We got to stand up, because we've got to do it. We've got to stand up. Anyways, so the thing is, what this week is, so I set a timer. So I have my timers for my scheduled time, but then I set a timer for 2 minutes to make sure that it's the next thing that I'm planning to do, the best use of my time, resources, and energy. After I've stood up for like 5 minutes, then is what I want to do next the best use of my time, resources, and energy? And if it's not, okay, we'll find out what is. And if it is, do it and focus on it. And that's your next focus time. And so that's one of the things that I really do. And so it's always great. I spend my days that way. So, but to bring me to say, this Saturday is National Play Outside Day. It's the first Saturday of every month. So no matter what month it is, people, I am encouraging you to put down your electronic devices and go outside. Because, we have so many opportunities to be outside, but we don't always take them. We have life, we have responsibilities, we have distractions. I'm queen of distractions, which is where Rita comes in, and what you already talked about. Put some of this stuff so that it's on automatic. And she's going to talk about, that kind of stuff. So, but couple of benefits, and then I'm going to get off my soapbox for this. A couple of benefits of why you should play outside. It frees you. Make like you're a child. And I don't care if you, like the one in my town, they just put in a splash pad. One of those water splash pads that anybody can go to. Have I been to it yet? No. Well, guess what? Saturday it's supposed to be a really hot day here in Chicago. So guess where I'm going? And I'm putting it on, and as I'm talking to myself right now, I'm going to put it on the calendar that I'm going to go walk in the splash pad. I love a splash pad. Why would I not take advantage of it? It is literally 2 minutes from my house. It's been there a month. I have not gone in it. I've not gone to it. Well, guess what? Well, Saturday is National Play Outside Day. So guess what I'm going to be doing? But why that's important? People always talk about how stressed they are. Or that they have cobwebs in their head. Well, that's what going outside can help you to do. Clear the cobwebs. You get stuck on a topic that you're doing, or you have something that's going around in your brain and you can't seem to get it resolved. Sometimes you just need a change of scenery.
Yes.
And if you're going to have a change of scenery, go outside. Walk in the grass. walk in the sand wherever you go. That's one of my things that I do want to have a beach place that I can go and walk in the sand. It is so good. And then the last one is of why what you know me, I'm in the health and wellness space.
Mhm.
We must use our physical body. Make
Yes.
sure that your heart is getting fresh oxygen. Your brain is getting fresh oxygen. Your limbs, your muscles, everywhere is getting fresh oxygen. Not air conditioned not air conditioned or in the winter heated. Go
Mm.
outside. You
Mm.
need to get fresh oxygen. It'll help. It'll be a wonder what a difference it will make to your attitude, to your happiness, to your well-being. To just go outside and make a habit of it.
Mhm.
You know,
Mhm. Yeah.
my my mom spent every day in the especially in the summer. She was sat outside every day for 10 minutes at lunchtime. Every day.
Wow.
Never missed. And because well we had an overhang porch, so it didn't matter whether it was raining or not or whatever. But she sat outside for 10 at least 10 minutes every day, rain or shine. It's so
Mhm.
important. So, what are you going to do on Saturday to go outside and have to celebrate National Play Outside Day?
Well,
Put you on the spot here. We need to
you
do it.
all one thing about it, I love what you do. You always find out the days of what's going on for the days or months. Now, and this is every month. This is wonderful how they do it every month. Now, before I say what I'm going to do, I need to put a disclaimer out there for people because I know people. We know people, Barbara. You're saying play out Saturday, right? Don't go. You go outside and put your phone to the side. See, people will go and say, okay, I went outside, Barbara. BBs, I went out. Yeah, you went out while you're still doing this. Unless you have music on and you're dancing or you're moving, grooving. I don't, that part I don't mind. Or listen to a motivational person while you're walking. But if you're sitting there texting and doing those for your job and all that stuff, put that to the side. It's time to play out, like Barbara said. So, saying all that, I think I'm going to go to the lakefront. I haven't been to the lakefront in a minute this year because it's been so hectic for me right now. And I said, you know what? That's what I love. I love looking at the water, looking at the sailboats go by, and just sitting with the breeze on my face. And oh, I can feel that right now. Just talking about it. Read a nice book. That's what I'm gonna do, bro. Yeah.
And and you brought up an absolutely great point. Sit. The point here. Love it. You brought it up. Exactly what people need to do. Put aside their phones. Sit and enjoy the breeze or enjoy the sun. And if you live in a hot climate, make sure you do it first thing in the morning or late at night. It doesn't have to be in the heat of the day. Do it when it's good for you, time wise, but sit and take the time to enjoy it. Key word there. Take the time to enjoy it because you can get present with yourself, especially if you have something that is bothering you. Because everything that you need to solve whatever is bothering you is within you. But you have to take the time to get in touch with it. Even if you set a timer, I'm a big timer girl. Set a timer for 20 minutes or half an hour and just sit there in silence and see what comes up. See what comes up. Everything will be resolved.
And Barbara, you really taught me about that timer. I have used that since because I know you mentioned to it months and months ago, and I said, "Ooh, it's a good idea." So I've been doing the same thing, especially sitting, working at home and sitting, like you said, mostly 8 hours a day. I get up every hour now for 10 minutes, like you said, and just move around. Even if it's just moving around, going up and down the stairs, or going in the basement, coming back up. I'm just moving and moving my body, like you said, because you sit here and other stuff health wise starts to kick in. And that's what happened to me during the summer. I mean, my legs started to swell up and I was like, oh no, because I've been sitting too long. So I had to move and stuff. And now I see a difference now than what I did when I was just sitting there. So, yeah, I call it the after effect of COVID. Because it seemed like COVID, with us being in the house all those years, like a hermit. And then now that we're coming out, we're moving and grooving a little bit more now. But some people are still working from home like me. So I had to sit there and say, okay, what do I do to move around and stuff? And now we're going in once out. They're letting us go in one. Well, they're saying we have to go once in the office monthly for right now. And I'm like, first I was like, it was funny, bro. First I was like, oh, dang, I'm so used to being here. Now I got to get up and kind of throw some clothes on and stuff like that. I got lazy. I did. It was nice to put a nice shirt on and stuff. And, the bottom, you got your little, house stuff on and everything. Now it's like, okay, I got to get up. But even with that, I was so glad that I started doing that because I started me moving again and getting up on a routine and going outside, like you said, Barbara, and drive and, just getting out there. So, yeah, you have to push yourself to do it. It's needed, much needed.
I mean, because the benefits far outweigh the once you do it, like you just said, you feel better. And the thing is that when it's not just the physical. It's not just the physical. Yes, we have to do that, but it stimulates the imagination, especially if you take time to sit and just veg with yourself. Your yard can become the kingdom of the world. You can imagine yourself in the Serengeti Desert if you want to do that. You can imagine you're surfing on the Great Barrier Reef in Australia. You can imagine that you're in the outback. You can imagine that you're walking on the Wall of China. And what you can do is get a picture before you're going to do this. Where is somewhere that you have always wanted to go? Get pictures of it. Look at the pictures. We are visual people. Look at the pictures. And then when you go outside, you can mentally recall the pictures that you have seen. And you can put yourself back there in your own backyard. And I call it taking a mental vacation. You take a mental vacation. It's so beneficial for you, so important for you to release the stress, find your purpose. Exactly. You can just And number one, don't care if anybody's driving by. If somebody sees you, oh well. And they say to you, what are you doing? Well, I'm walking on the Wall of China. Or I'm gazing at the giraffes in the Serengeti Desert. Or I'm looking at the kangaroos in the Australian outback. Because that puts words to your imagination. And then, I'm a woman of faith, so are you, so's Rita. I believe that when we put those things out there, if that's something that you really want to do, there will become a way for you to do it.
Yes. There is no limitation when it comes to that. There is
no limit. No limit. And so that is my spiel today of go outside on Saturday.
Well, Barbara, you just took me to China. You took me to Australia. You took me to the Bahamas because I went there with myself. And then I went to Hawaii. Then I jumped from Hawaii. And then, all of a sudden I went to Alaska. I don't know why I went to Alaska, but because I've never been there. So you had me jumping all over the place within that 5 minutes. I did a world adventure. It felt good too, especially when I was in Bahamas, because I was drinking those Bahama Mamas, and I was just laying back saying, "Yeah, keep it coming, keep it coming."
Exactly. And that's what our imagination is, unlimited. If you want to go to space, put a space, like with me, my theme song is A Space Odyssey from the movie 2001. And when I listen to that, it just transports me into my future
Mm.
because I know that that's going to be my theme song and it is going to be played when I'm doing events because that's something that I want to do. I want to do events. But can I brag for 1 second and then I will, then we're going to turn it over to give our sponsors some loves. One of the things that I'm part of the Deluxe Network program and we do podcasts. Well, I've been asked to do some extra podcasts for them. So I'm excited about that. So I'll keep you posted on doing that. So it's just going to be fun. So find the thing that you love to do and then do more of it. But you know what? So often we get stuck in our brain that we don't know what we're supposed to be doing. That's why it's so important to take time to just be with you.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need to be with your text. You don't need to be with your audio. You don't need to be with your video. You don't need to be with anybody because you is the person that you're going to have when you wake up in the middle of the night.
Yeah, you can't leave you.
You can't leave you. So get in touch with you.
Oh no, I'm running. Oh, I'm still with me.
Or you're still with me. Exactly. So get in touch with you. And that's kind of where that brings me to why Rita. I mean, she is helping me to automate so many of my things. It is just like So she just has some great ideas of things that little tips and things that you can do to automate. To make your life easier.
We keep talking about this godmother of technology and just helping us out with everything when it comes to your business of funnels and everything. So let's go to our sponsor. And this will bring on this godmother so we can talk to her and people can get some tips and tricks and teachable moments and everything else you want to say. So with that, let's see. Who's our sponsor today?
Friday, everyone. Your real worth isn't defined by your net worth. What makes you valuable is how you use what you have been given. All of us have gifts. Make sure you're making the most of yours. Have an amazing Friday.
It is now the bottom of the hour. I'm excited to welcome Nancy Matthews to our program today. Nancy is an author of a book. I'm going to go ahead and highlight it in the carousel for you guys. There it is, The One Philosophy. We're going to talk to Nancy not only about the release of the book, but also what it's been like for her to share the message with all of you guys. Nancy, great to have you on with us.
Hello, hello, hello. So happy to be here.
So I want to give reverence to a person that passed away this week, Mr. Bob Barker, and say, come on down, Rita. You are on Time to Shine Happiness Show. Yay!
I did $1.
Usually people win with that, it seems like.
Yeah, or $1 over the highest bid. But yeah, that
got
always
it.
seemed like not fair to me. But
Yeah, me too. I was in the same boat. I'm like, for $1, really? no thought process there.
Right. I think it's less than whatever they bid. So I'll just say $1 and you're going to get it if it's right. So,
It's like, okay. And then
that's
it's when somebody started, I don't know who started that out, but after that happens, like that was just the thing. Yeah, people come on.
Yeah, you want to be last on the thing. But a strategy, I've never been a strategist like my whole life. Like that is strategy. And my brain would say, well, that's not right. You didn't even try. Like, no, you didn't give a real guess. But I would not have ever thought to do that myself.
I know, because when it started, I was like, oh, I'm thinking to my mind, like,
well, that'll work.
That worked. But no, I would have never thought of that. I wouldn't have been the first one to think of that at all. I'd have been like, okay, $5.96, $9.5, would have been putting up prices.
Yeah.
But yeah. So, rest in peace to Mr. Bob Barker.
Oh boy, he really was an institution. Everybody in America knew who he was.
No. And being for 50, I think they said for 50 years or something, because I was just looking at his, resume.
And he was in his 90s.
Yeah, he had a message that he loved animals, and he wanted to spay and neuter pets every day. He said that, which was pretty neat.
Pretty neat.
And we lost Barbara Walters too recently.
I know.
Another icon of industry, of the news, in the news. So yeah,
he was such a groundbreaker for women in that industry. I mean, it was completely saturated with men, not just on the air, off the air. Like it was all men.
Yes, and she got herself. We were standing. Everybody was standing on her shoulders because how she started and made sure she paved the way.
That is so true. She was so brave.
Yeah. But yeah. So we said, "Come on down, Miss Rita, Godmother." We call you. And
I was on that show with my crown.
See, she's doing it. See, Barbara, she's doing what I tell every woman that they need to be thinking about is that they're queens, but she's the godmother. But then she's a little higher up. But all of our else is queens. Oh my gosh, she even has
Look.
I love it. Oh my God, I love that. I gotta get one of those.
Well, I'll tell you, I mean, if you can have a moniker, if you can have something like I have the funnel godmother, and it's so easy to transform with just the crown on my head, easy on, easy off. So it's not like a whole costume or some elaborate thing that is could become annoying or anything like that. I'm very blessed that a client gave me that name. In fact, we were working on her funnels together, and she said, oh my gosh, she said, I just never could do this without you. You're my fairy god. You're my funnel godmother. And just like that, within 5 minutes, she was checking the internet to see if anyone was using it. I was buying the domain on GoDaddy, and it was like, that was it. I knew that's who I was, the funnel godmother.
Yes, I'm so glad that you did that. You mark yourself that way because it fits you to a T. Yeah, so that's wonderful. So you're like your family. Okay, so once you come to our house a few times, you're just here. You can go in the refrigerator, get what you want. You can get your own glasses. You can sit back on our couch because you are family, godmother. So we always want to bring you in when there's new things happening in your life, when you're doing some things for others. So please share some wealth here.
Well, I will tell you something that I heard Barbara saying, and it is so true. And I have found myself sitting far too long. So how I found the automation that I now represent and teach is I had a photography business, and I was an event photographer. So boy, oh boy, you want to talk about a workout. You're just up and down stairs, you're squatting, you're standing up, you're getting on a ladder, you're taking pictures any way you can, crawling around on the floor. And it's physical more than anyone would think. And so I when I discovered the automation and I became certified to sell it and teach it, I knew I could make a much bigger impact on the world and business owners with the automation than I could with photography. And so when you think about it, if you don't have the very best, sharpest pictures from the big, heavy black camera for your marketing, that's probably not going to be the reason your company goes under. But if you don't have systems at all, or the right systems in place that are going to help you get more work done and make more money, you could very well go under. That could be the reason, mostly is the reason, that companies go under, because the owners try to do too many things at one time. So shorten that story, I flipped. So now I still do photography, but I do photography for my automation clients, for their landing pages, websites, email marketing campaigns, the photography that they need to market their business. But getting back to the very first thing is, I have been sitting. September 23rd is my 2-year anniversary of leaving corporate America and running a business 100%. And it's literally not, I don't want to die, but if I died now, I've done it. I wouldn't have a regret and say, gee, I wish I would have, you know? And I'm just so, like, I'm so blessed, and I'm filled with gratitude. Even this morning when I was waking up, I just thank you for this bed and my sheets and my spouse and this house and my business. And I'm just so blessed. It's ridiculous. And I know it. So I think that's a blessing, just to be able to know it and focus on it, and let that permeate how you go through your day.
Yes. I always want to give so much love to individuals, especially the queens, when they can say that, you know what, I've been trying to get away from corporate for so long. I've done it for a few years, and now I feel at peace. My purpose is out there. I'm doing what I love to do. It's heaven. And it can be, but you, like you said, Rita, you have to put things in place so you continue on with that. You know, sometimes we be like, oh, get out there. And then, you know, we burn ourselves out because, like you said, we don't have the certain technology in place.
Yeah. In the terror of not having money come in, like just that, I didn't make any money today or yesterday. No money came in. What's on the horizon? I don't see anything on the horizon. And it's that just oppressive terror that you're not going to be able to pay your bills. And then that sometimes people react differently, but then they get even more scattered and they try to do more things. And that just makes them even less effective. And it can be a really vicious cycle.
Yeah. Yes. You know, somebody was telling me just the other day, and because I still work, I'm dual. So I work corporate and I have my own business. And I'm working towards where Rita is at. So I'm kind of, when I grow up, I want to be just like Rita. So with that, somebody told me, they said, Barbara, make sure that you don't get so comfortable because you still have money coming in your corporate, that you don't get so comfortable that you have to look at the fact that if you try to get to your business and do that 100%, you have to work like you don't have a corporate job. And I was like, oh, I said, that's interesting. They said, yeah. So you get up every day, you have to make them calls, or you have to, every day you should be doing something towards your business and put to the side that, okay, I have this corporate job, but really I don't. They was like, because you don't want to, because if you think of that, you'd be like, well, I don't have to get up and make calls a day because I know I got a check coming on the 15th or, the 30th. And so you kind of, sit back and say, yeah, I'm okay. But they said, no, if you have to think like, no, I don't have that. I have to get up. I need to do this and this and this in order to make sure, my empire is growing.
That's so true. And that accountability is so important. And that's one reason why some businesses falter, because human beings do generally, most of us, we flourish and we thrive with at least a little bit of supervision. Somebody's watching, even like you work at home for your corporate job, but there's accountability. Someone's going to notice what you're doing, right? So you produce. And I said this to myself I think it was Thursday or Friday. And I had not been calling all these people that I met at a business expo where I had a booth the week before. And I said, you are going to act like you have a supervisor that's right outside the door, and you have to make all these follow-up calls. And of course, I use Keep, which is my CRM system. So I opened it up. I knew I could just filter those people, start making those calls. My internet would not work. Would not work. And I spent 2 hours with Comcast and, jumping around and just trying to get the internet to work so I could start making these phone calls. And I will say I still had the business card, so I was able to use my phone and make the calls. But sometimes the technology that we love and hate will get in your way based on what you think you're going to get done that day, too.
Oh, yeah. I remember one day, and I think me and Barbara had this talk, one of our shows a while ago, where I lost internet for 2 days. And I thought everything just blew up in my mind. I was like, oh no. And then you realize what things trigger for, that things that you have to do is triggering internet. See, because I'm thinking like, okay, I lost internet. Okay, I can do this. Well, I got on my phone. Well, it was slow because the internet is hooked up to the phone. Okay, so it's okay, so be there. Then I said, okay, I can just get on my laptop and do my and hook up to a spot, or you can do a spot thing on your phone, right? Well, I tried to do that. It was slow as molasses because now it's taking all that bandwidth in, and I'm like, that's not going to work. I said, I can't work off of my phone hotspot. I couldn't do it. So I had to wind up going out to the library.
Oh my God.
To go get some internet. Get to the library. Now that was slow because everybody's sitting there sucking it up because I'm not the only one that lost internet. So I was like, wow, I spent the whole day chasing around internet and then get nothing done. So I was like, I couldn't believe it. Yeah, you never know. Technology could be just wonderful. And then sometime, and I don't want to talk about it because I don't want the technology guys to come shining down on me saying, boom, here you go again. But then it can be kind of challenging. Let's just say that. This is challenging. Yes.
Yeah, it can be. And, that's getting into our subject for today, that it's lonely at the top, right? And you're not weak if you ask for help or perspective from your community, because, you get into a day like that and your business is on the line. You're trying to serve your clients and you're being challenged by some kind of technical or other situation that you didn't anticipate. And it's so easy to get in a situation where you're just putting out the biggest fire right now. It might not be the most important thing that you need to do. You just have to put that fire out because that thing got out of control. Meanwhile, the most important thing's kind of smoldering over here. Pretty soon it's going to be a big fire. And you can spend all your days just chasing the big fires when you need to be. And I'm thinking of, I think it's Stephen Covey. Yeah, he had the 4 quadrants. And there's important and not urgent. That's where you want to be working most of the time. There's important and urgent. That's a fire at the moment. But important and not urgent is maintaining systems and doing things like building your funnel, those kind of things that are going to benefit you long term and prevent big fires from flaring up.
And one of the things for me, and I know you haven't been hearing from me because we are having a technical issue with how we're sounding. Anyways, but I call them, and on my schedule they are in bright red, and they are income producing activities. And if you can spend, and they say statistically that if you can spend 20% of your time doing income producing activities every day, then you will have income coming in. And sometimes the thing is, the income producing activity can be working on your funnel. Like I consider that work because that's something that Rita and I are doing, is we're working on my funnel.
Yeah.
And because that's future income, but it is still an income producing activity because unless you have the wherewithal to have somebody do it for you, where a team comes in. But until you are at that point, you got to do some of it. You got to learn how to do. And plus, Rita will be the first one to tell you that you have to know how your system works.
That's exactly right.
Then you can delegate it.
That's right.
Absolutely. But
You
know
have to-
how your system works. So I'll let you you'll talk about that part.
You, in every situation, you must be able to inspect what you expect. This could be with your accountant. This could be with your whoever's building your funnel and managing your CRM. It's with whoever is talking to your clients. If you hire a salesperson or a closer, if you have a VA, you have to know enough about what you've assigned them to do that you will know if they're doing it right or not. And you will hopefully know if they're taking an appropriate amount of time to get it done as well. And because you are responsible for those results in the end, it's your company name on the line, and it's your efficiency and your future profits that are on the line. So yes, 100%, you need to know your system well enough, or know what the system will and won't do, what it's capable of. So when you hire someone, you will know what to expect. And, if you just say to someone, like if you hire me to build all your funnels and you give me all the information I need, and you say, well, I want more leads every month for sure. I want more leads. I want to make more money. Well, it's better to say, I want 20 leads per week that convert to 10 new customers per month. I want those new customers onboarded in this specific way, and I want to see retention of those new customers at a 80% retention rate. So then the information that you're giving me about your company and what you do for your clients and all their pain points, I can use all that to write the emails and build the landing pages, and then we can measure what's happening with your lead magnet, your landing page. We can measure if our verbiage in the emails is getting clicks, if people are responding. We can measure everything if you know exactly what you want going in. And then you may change, and you might say, well, 20 new leads a month isn't going to cut it. I need 50 new leads a month. Right. So you can change your expectation based on data that you have analyzed. But if you don't have expectations clearly in the first place, and you don't measure, then you can't analyze. So yeah, I love systems and measuring things and building the thing. And the reason I love building the funnels is because it frees you up. So like I'm being interviewed right now, and my CRM system is answering questions from people, inviting people to my live training that's coming up next month. It's working my business for me, the clerical, administrative, repetitive tasks that I don't have to do. I can be out here being the face of the company and inspiring people, hopefully touching someone's life, and they might say, oh, I think I might want to work with that lady, and then book an appointment and take my free offer today, and then come into my world, and spend more time with me.
Yes, I always I'm glad that you brought that up, Rita. First of all, okay, if everybody heard Rita, you see all the things she does. Yes, she can help you out with your business, with funnels, email, marketing, all that. That's Rita. That's why she's godmother. So I just had to put that out there, just to remind you. But the one thing I wanted to mention, where you were talking about, the delegating, we keep talking about delegating certain things in your business. And somebody came to me the other day and said, Barbara, I know I need a VA. I know I need a virtual assistant. I know I need somebody like a Rita or something like that. I know I need somebody like that. But I just don't know what I'm supposed to give them to do. I said, okay, this is what you need to do. You need to sit down, like Barbara always says, by yourself, get all that clutter for a minute, and write down on a piece of paper, just brainstorm all the things that in your mind saying you don't have time for. Write it down. So if you write all that down, then that will give you an idea when you talk to a company like Farida or a VA, or looking for a VA. You know exactly what you want them to do. I said, one thing you don't want to do is sit there and be like, go to VA, say, I need a VA, and they ask you, well, what you want us to do for you? Well, I don't know everything. Okay, that's not helping them.
And it's, you know, yeah, it can be really hard. I hired a VA, and she came highly recommended from a friend of mine. And I stammered and staggered, and I didn't know what to give her to do. And so I was blessed because I had my friend, and I said, what do you give her to do? And so that started to give me ideas of what I could give her, plus ideas of her abilities and what she could do unsupervised. And it is so hard to let go. You know, I think solopreneurs, especially entrepreneurs, it's so hard for us to let go of something and trust that someone else is going to care as much as we do. And first of all, just know this, they're not going to care as much as you do. They are not. But they will do a good job. And you just need to watch everything, you know, that you do delegate.
Yeah.
You
And
know,
just
that's-
like
You
Oh,
have
go
to
ahead.
do it, or you're not going to grow.
You know, and that's one of the things for me with my VA, and you know, and don't be afraid to get a different one. Like the first VAs, the first couple of VAs that I had, they weren't quite right for me, and I didn't know enough exactly to share with them what to do. Well, then it was like, okay, has I learned? Oh, gee, well, I would like for them to do this now, and then plus listen to what other people are doing. And so one day a friend of mine she showed us that she had had a virtual photo shoot done. I went, ooh, now wouldn't that be fun? So loved the way the girl had done it. And so I went to my VA team and said, is that something that you can do? And of course the answer came back, well, yes, we can do that for you. So now, right now, they are working on that for me to do a virtual photo shoot. And it's just I'm like just some of the things it's like, wow, how do you do that? But with the advent of AI, it's an artificial intelligence that they can do. And they sent me one rendition. It was like the face it's looking pretty good. They're still tweaking on it, but I went, oh brother, we're gonna have to have a fashion. A fashion you know, she just put my face in clothes, and I went, yeah, no. And had such a great laugh about it because it was totally inappropriate for my age, but the outfits were very cool, but not for me. So that's where you have to be able to say, hey, you know what? Yeah, love the work you're doing on the face because it's a work in progress. However, the clothes have got to go. But but then pick out some things. So I'm now in the process of picking out some things to send of some of the outfits that I like.
Yeah.
So you find out what you like, but don't be afraid to ask the question. So,
Yeah. And,
yeah.
you know, you brought up another point that I really wanted to make sure to mention today is, again, we're talking about it's lonely at the top and being an entrepreneur. And one of the things that you can lose is perspective. When you don't have coworkers to bounce things off of, you don't have uh, anyone in the situation with you, even a partner, and you can lose perspective quickly. A friend of mine just recently, well, she wrote a book a while ago, and it's a very helpful book, and it steers and guides you through a very important and stressful time in your life. And she's been selling her book and teaching courses on it. So recently, a week ago, she learned that someone had bought a bunch of her books and was teaching a course on it. And she has a community around her. Of course, I'm in her community. And our initial reaction in all of us was, oh my gosh, that's great. What a compliment it was, and fantastic exposure. More and more and more people will know about your book. She was absolutely livid. She was so furious that someone was teaching from her book without going through her, of course. that she immediately lost perspective and completely. And so she had her community around her. And so we all said, okay, I can see a little bit of that. Let's look at it another way and another way. So we all helped her see it a couple different ways. And now she needs to have some better verbiage in her book about not using it outside of written permission. She needs to really step up her own game of teaching her own courses and being known. She wasn't known. She's not known for that specialty. And so it's really been a blessing in disguise for her, but her perspective was just completely not healthy, let's say. And thankfully, it only lasted a few days because she had her community around her. And so that's really thankful.
Yeah, and that's so important. Sorry, Barbara. And that's so important too, is that, we all get information from other sources. Like right now, a friend of mine is teaching a course on another book, and it's like, yeah, we all learn from each other. Well, that's what books are out there for.
Mm-hmm.
And yet, sometimes if you have intellectual property, then yeah, you need to protect it.
Yeah, you do.
So
before we wrap up, because I know with time, I was like, oh my God, we've been talking so good stuff. And I was like, time we're running out again.
Oh
I
no!
want to give a shout out to Laura Parkey. I think it's Parkey with the E. She has been loving the conversation. I've been seeing her take a lot of insight on what we're talking about and giving some love to us. So thank you, Laura, for coming in this morning. We appreciate you. Let's see what she says. I have reasons I like it done a certain way. Sometimes there are no shades of gray. It's the gas pedal or the brake. Find good people. It's an answered prayer. Yes, Laura. Yes, you're right. And it might take, like Barbara Ellison said, it might take a few VAs that you have to go through to get to the one that's really working for you. Yeah,
true.
Definitely. So Rita, any last, please, Godmother, ding us with your one of your last thoughts.
Since we've been talking about community and we've been talking about the funnels, and they can be vexing, let's say, at least vexing, especially if they're not in your zone of genius, even though we know absolutely that we need them in our business. And so I have built a community of business owners who are building their own funnels, and so I do office hours twice a month, and so you can just bring your questions. And I have, for everyone listening and everyone on the replay, a gift certificate for 1 month of free Automation Nation. That's what the community is called. And that's a $97 value. So we'll put a link in for you to click on so you can get into the office hours in September and really start to get the answers that you need to move your sales needle forward.
I'm excited because I'm signing up.
And it really does help, because, and even if you don't, like, even the times that I have come on to Rita's office hours, even if I didn't have a specific question, sometimes you don't know what you don't know until someone else tells you something that you don't know. So someone else's question went, ooh, and would trigger, oh, I could do that. Or, ooh, I need to know how to do that. And just, so yeah, it has been just absolutely a blessing to be part of Automation Nation.
Yay, Barbara. Love you there too.
Oh my God, I can't wait. Okay, everybody. I'm so excited. I can't even think now straight. Thank you. See, Godmother gave a gift. Reads communicate. Oh, she's a founding member. So she's one of your wonderful. Oh, okay.
We have two Lauras today. Laura Barker is a founding member, and we also have Laura Park, who's been making a lot of comments.
Oh, wow. We got the Lauras in the house. So it's LLPB. So we're Barbara. And then the Godmother, the whole thing is the big R, Rita.
That's right.
So with that, Rita, thank you so much. I'm going to put down here again just before we close to make sure, because I do have your website here. And please reach out to the Godmother. You see, she has tremendous things she can help you with your business. Believe me, Barbara Ellison has been working with her. And I'm telling you, it has been incredible what she's doing for Barbara's whole platform. I mean, I see it, you know, and I'm sitting there like, okay, Barbara, I gotta get to Rita. I gotta get to her. And when she said, that's why I got so excited about the 1 month free. I'm like, oh, I can go into it a little bit, experiment, and then just say, okay, Barbara, keep it going, keep it going. So thank you for opening up just for a month so we can see what, you know, what you can do for people that need to see and really hone in their business and get help with their CRMs, because it's important. It's
It
important.
is.
See, now everybody's coming in after the fact. This is not fair.
And also, you can be an Automation Nation, and it doesn't matter which system you're using or if you even have a system. It's just it's overall instruction and guidance on how to use the automation of nurture campaigns and lead generation and those things. So it doesn't matter which system you're using.
That's nice. That's nice to know, because some people might be using something else right now instead of Keep, and you can still get the love from Godmother to get your questions answered, and that's what it's all about. I'm gonna buy one of those. But anyway, thank you, Rita, for coming. Barbara, you know you got to do your last thing, Queen.
You know, yeah, and Rita, you know, our theme is to make happiness the norm rather than the exception. And so when you automate some of the things, your daily stuff, it really does make your heart happy, because you can go on and do the things that you truly want to do and let somebody else do the behind the scenes stuff. So yeah, absolutely. You know, make happiness the norm rather than the exception. I mean, we all deserve to lead happy, healthy, debt-free, abundant lives. Well, Rita can help you do the everyday stuff.
No excuses.
No excuses.
Okay, well, we'll see everybody next Tuesday. And again, as Barbara always say, make happiness the norm and not the abnormal. I always say that. I added that. See you all next Tuesday. Bye.